You know I've been around and doing it, but now it's my time to shine and start proving it. I'm losing it, I'm moving it. The city is where I'm made, Bostonian flow, I kick it a back bay. Yeah, I got game, God in a fan way. We the city of the champs, every sport we play. Spit wetter than the harbor, yeah, I'm flowing like the Charles. I be speeding on this beat, call it Turnpike Miles. Yeah, it's Google signing on, John to the Hancock, and I'm always key, I'm ready to unlock. I be doing big things.
Welcome back, everyone, to the newest edition of Once a Week. I'm Billy Gianlutis, and guys, as you can see, we have another incredible guest for you to spread their message. And guys, after truly diving into our guest's background, I have no doubt in my mind that it's going to inspire you and it's going to motivate you to move forward, because he is also a professional speaker who speaks on mindset, mental health, and personal development. And guys, with his story, he's overcome homelessness. He's overcome suicide. Guys, he has searched for his purpose and found it as the gift to inspire others through his voice. And guys, I give you the one and only Nick Laureano. Nick, thanks for being here, brother.
Pleasure, brother.
Yeah.
Pleasure to be here, brother.
Did I get the last name?
Yeah, you got it.
I got it. All right.
You got it.
Yeah. Thanks for being here, brother. And to have another professional speaker on and spread your message, man, I love that. And we always have different guests on to spread, how they help people and whatnot. But your message, man, you come from a very, we'll say, tough background. You've overcome homelessness. You've fought in the mental health, we'll say, the battlefield. So I thank you so much for being here, man, where we can help and motivate others. But tell us, man, how did you get into this professional speaking game, we'll say?
Honestly, man, the best way I can put it, short and brief, is I went through a lot of things growing up. Like, my parents never really supported me, didn't support my visions or dreams. Like, I felt like I was the outcast in a sense. I didn't really know what I was meant to do. Didn't know what my purpose was. Kind of felt like I was like losing part of my individuality in a sense. But I've realized over time through personal experience, I didn't mature through my age every year. I matured through my experience. I feel like that's the best teacher. The best teacher in life is your own experience. When I went through that time of being homeless, it really challenged me. It tested my faith. It tested my strength. It built up my character to a point. I'm like, you know what? I know my life is so much more for me to do. It's just, how am I going to get there? What am I going to do? What's the action steps and the actions that I'm going to take for me to get to this point? But there was so many times where I was like, you know what? I don't even have this physical and mental strength to keep going. And I told myself, like, Nick, there's got to be a way out of this. What can we do to get out of this rut and into the promised land? How can we reach the destination while still being able to fall in love with the journey? So for me, I just kept telling myself, like, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. There's a silver lining at the end of this. But for me to believe that, I had to speak life into myself. I couldn't speak life into anybody else if I couldn't speak life into me, because the best love you can have is for yourself. I practiced the mirror work. If you know what the mirror work is, I told myself, Nick, you're confident, you're dangerous, nobody can stop you but you. And I would tell myself that every day for days on end. And the more that it stuck in my mind, it made me feel more vibrant. It made me feel more connected with myself, because being in tune with yourself is important. Because if you don't know who you are and you don't know what your individuality is, you feel like you can't really spread a message. You can't really resonate with other people if you don't know who you are. So through my own personal experience and testimony, I want to be able to give life to others that may have gone through something similar like me, or even different, because we all have a purpose. We all have a story to tell. It's just, what are you going to use as far as your personal experience to ignite that flame in somebody else? Because everybody has that potential inside of them. It's just, I feel so many have only scratched the surface of it. And when you scratch the surface of your potential, there's so much you can do, but you have to see the gift you have. Anybody else can see the gift, but if you don't see the gift, you'll never know what it is you can bring to life or to the table.
On every front, I completely agree with you. And a major piece that you mentioned is that the mirror aspect, but the self-talk piece. Because as you said, experience it's a factor of life. And if we can look at our experiences through something that's trying to help us rather than something that's trying to hurt us, we completely change the definition that we're telling ourselves. We completely change the message that we're speaking to ourselves in that mirror. But then you take your power back, right? Because in the experiences, I always look at it where what you're going through is not for you, it's meant to help the person after you. And you need to be the one to climb out of it, as you said, to kind of dig and find that gift that's hidden in that experience, but then to kind of climb out of it means that you can reach down and pull the next person up. And that's what we're meant to do, where we're meant to take this gift and inspire others with it. But if we're not willing to dig into, honestly, through the dirt, to step into that dark and find what is in this painful experience that I need to learn, that I need to take and move forward on, if we don't spend the time with that, as you said, you're leaving your potential there. Because everything comes to you to try to help you move forward, and whatever you're trying to create for yourself. Now, whether we've talked about manifestation in the past and whatnot, when you're trying to create something in your life, you're trying to create this next great version of you, you're essentially saying, I want this so badly. World, God, universe, help me try to get there. And then all these experiences are going to start to line up to help you achieve that goal. On the process of achieving that goal, it's like you're hitting wall after wall after wall, and you've seen this firsthand with everything you've battled. But in winning those battles, you see your strength. In winning those battles, you found your gift. You found your ability to speak into others' lives and impact them. So I completely agree with you in all of that. But tell us, when you're in those battles, and you realize, okay, like self-talk in the mirror helps you so much. When you're in that mental health battle, that mindset battle, that personal development battle, when you're going through that, how did you get through it on a, say, mental health level? Because I think that's a factor that you bring so much to the table and what we've talked about, but also that's something that everyone in the world is battling right now is mental health.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So how did you kind of make it through? Because homelessness in itself, that brings a mental health battle. And as you mentioned, a suicide survivor, that is mental health. It's a battle in itself, and you came out as a victor. Tell us a little bit about that.
You know, it's funny you said that, the victor part.
Yeah.
I didn't want to look at myself as the victim, but the victor.
Love it.
Because I look at myself as someone that is so resilient, ambitious. I'm not going to take no for an answer. I'm not going to let this certain situation that I'm going through define my reality. Because I know there's meant for me more to do, but it was up for me to see that. And my vision was so clouded, and judgment was so clouded for a better part of those years in time frame, that I didn't know how I was going to get out of it. I thought this is the end all be all. This is it.
Yeah.
I might as well give it all up.
Yeah.
But if I kept speaking negatively about myself in those circumstances, nothing was going to change. You can't expect a negative self-talk to reflect a positive outcome.
Yeah.
It's like a double-edged sword.
Exactly.
If you don't believe in yourself and your ability and your words that come out of your mouth, you're never going to get out of the situation you're in, even the rut that you're in.
Yeah.
Mental health is a very critical and crucial topic in the world today, because so many people are killing themselves mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, because they think that someone else defines their reality. They don't know who they are. They don't know what they're meant to do. They think, you know what, these demons, inner voices are clouding my better judgment so much to the point where I can't think freely for myself. But whenever I was going through that, those voices and those demons in my head were always playing tricks on me. It wasn't real. It wasn't actually there. Right. But for me to believe that it wasn't there, I had to say, you know what, I had to take control of my mind, body, and spirit and say, you know what, these voices aren't even really there.
I love it.
It's just me against my better judgment. So for me to believe in myself in that situation, it was hard as hell, man. It was hard because I thought, you know what, Nick, there's nothing more we can do. This is it. They grab control of me, and I can't let go. They won't let me go. They won't let me let go freely. But I always told myself, pain is the best experience. Pain is the best teacher. And in those dark moments where the chaos was so high, the storm was flourishing through, in the storm is when someone learns more about themselves. Rock bottom, I learned more about myself than the mountaintop could ever teach me. I learned through that pain, through that experience, through that hardship, through that challenge. I learned so much more at rock bottom than when I ever could if I ever reached the top. And I knew that the top would come. I knew that I would reach the mountain eventually. But it was the journey I fell in love. I fell in love with myself along the journey.
I love it.
I fell in love with the things that made me who I am. I found out my purpose. I found out what makes me me. I found out what message I could spread. And in that time frame, I learned more about how to be happy. How to look at myself in the mirror and say, you know what? I love who I look at, and not feel disgusted by the things I've been through or the stigmas people placed on me or the negative things people put upon me. I love the person that I've become because I look back and reflect on the things I've been through and think, you know what? A lot of people probably wouldn't be able to get out of that. That's a situation that probably would break them so much. And that's the problem in the world today is we compare situations with people. How I've gone through it is different than how you get through it. How you go through it is going to be different than somebody else gets through it. I don't compare with other people.
Yeah.
I simply look at my life and use it as a testimony. I use it as a beacon of light to ignite myself and say, you know what? Better is to come. But in order for better to come, I got to make room for better to come. So just giving myself that positive affirmation, that positive self-talk, and being able to remind myself every day, even when I tell myself it may or may not happen, instead of saying I'm going to try to do something, I kept saying I'm going to do something, because trying is 50-50, which means it may or may not happen. So when I switch my vocabulary, when I switch my mindset, I start to believe the things that come out of my mouth. And positive affirmations and self-talk is the key to moving forward.
I love it. I love it. And I agree with you on that in so many areas, especially the fact of creating an empowering decision for yourself. And that's what you did, where, you know, as you described it, the voices or the negative thoughts, the demons that are coming to you, and they're speaking this negativity on your life. You're never going to do this. There's no way you can get out of this. Just end it now. Whatever they said. We all have that negative self aspect at some point, especially when we're going through a struggle. But as you described it, as you went through it, as you now help people understand it, you need to make an empowering decision for yourself, where you're saying, no more. I'm drawing the line in the sand right now, and I'm never going back to that. And then from that point, as you said, that positive affirmation, you can start to take steps forward. I think in starting to take those steps forward is usually when you hit the most walls, because you're used to living in a routine. Your thoughts, your mind is operating in a pattern of these negative words, these negative talks and everything like that. Negative comments for that matter. So hitting the wall after wall at the beginning, if you're resilient, persistent, as you described it, is you're starting to change these routines, these habits, these patterns. And from that point onward, you're starting to see success.
They say a good habit is formed in 7, 14, 21, or 30 days.
Yeah.
But building that habit is the toughest part.
100%.
Once you build that habit, everything else falls into place.
Exactly. And we're humans, we're creatures of habits. But I don't think I believe this, where most people don't understand how your mind operates on that pattern and that habit. Because this, more often than not, say, I forget what the number is, but say we have between 80,000 and 120,000 thoughts a day. About 80 to 90% of those thoughts are the same exact thoughts that you thought yesterday. And if you're not actually stepping into that process and trying to think differently, as you said with your words, you're speaking differently, using different vocabulary. One thing that I try and teach at my seminars is it's called the triad, but you have your thoughts have so much power, your words have so much power, and your actions have so much power. And if you change one of them, you see an impact in your life. You change two of them, there's movement. You start to take action on your thoughts, and like the positive thoughts you're thinking and the positive words you're speaking about yourself and your life.
Change starts from within.
100%, exactly.
Because how you view yourself is how others are going to view you.
Exactly.
If you don't believe in your words, if you don't believe in yourself, if you don't support yourself and the things you do, you can't expect anybody else to.
It's the energy you're giving off, right? And
energy is contagious.
Exactly.
It's contagious. That's where people feed off of that.
Yep.
If they feed off good energy, they're going to say, you know what, I want to be like him. But there's no reason to be like you, because everybody's different. How your energy is different than how my energy is. But at the end of the day, we feed off each other. We feed off each other and we help each other out. That's what it boils down to.
100%, exactly. And that's the goal, I think, us as speakers, but I wish it was the goal as everyone, is you're trying to help the next person in line. That's when your energy can truly impact someone and truly pull them up. So I say that to the viewers right now. Think on that, where whether you think on it's the self-talk aspect and how you can change it for yourself, but also the actions you take for yourself, the words you speak for yourself, but then how you can take that, impact it for yourself, and then help the next person in line. Because that is where the energy aspect, as you described, starts to resonate elsewhere, but it's improving everyone else around you. And I think you, with the message you bring to the table, and really having to go through the trenches of life, homelessness, suicide, it's a very dark factor of life, but you came out stronger because of it. And now, as you mentioned it, and I think everyone here can know it, is that mental health, suicide is now at an all-time high.
Oh, absolutely.
And we aren't teaching people how to use their mind the right way to overcome mental health, to have a positive or a healthy mental lifestyle. But with your message where you've overcome it, you are now impacting the audiences to have that, right? So you bring so much to it, but how, you mentioned positive self-talk, you mentioned the mirror aspect. When you were going through it, the first few steps, I mentioned those walls happen. Did you start to notice when you're speaking positive out there, when you're trying to speak positive to yourself, did you start to see more opportunity come to you?
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I saw more. I not only saw more opportunity come to me, but I realized I attracted the right tribe.
Nice.
I attracted the right environment.
Yep.
And they say you become a product of your environment.
Right.
If you hang around the right people, you're gonna want to do better for yourself. It's like that old cliche saying:
Yep.
You hang around 5 winners, you're bound to be the 6th.
Yeah.
If you hang around 5 losers, you're bound to be the 6th.
Yeah.
So I always do that in my environment. And people don't realize that your environment has a huge impact on your mental health.
100%.
If you hang around people that don't involve growth, aren't willing to learn, aren't willing to compromise, aren't willing to be challenged,
right,
it's going to affect you because now you feel like you're stagnant. You're not leveling up to your value or your potential.
Yep.
And then you think, you know what am I meant to do? Why am I here? What's my purpose? And then you start to question yourself. Then that's when you leave room for those thoughts and those voices to come in.
Yep.
And when you give them leverage to live rent-free in your mind,
yep,
that's when you start to become cloudy. You start to lose focus.
Yeah.
You start to lose all sense of yourself.
Right.
So I've just realized, like, if my environment is happy and full of growth,
yep,
there's no way I can lose.
Exactly.
Because when you make room for growth and you eliminate that negative thinking, there's so much more you can make room for.
Yeah.
But you have to make that conscious decision for yourself,
yep,
every day to make room for it.
Yeah.
Because if you're having those voices and thoughts live rent-free in your headspace, you're doing yourself the biggest disservice, because you're going to lose out on a lot of potential opportunities.
Yeah.
You're going to block your blessings, and you're going to block out people that actually look out for you.
Yeah.
But until you learn that step in life, you may never know what it is can be brought to the table.
100%. And that's the beauty of it too, and a positive side of it, where there's so much that we want to achieve in life. That's everyone, not just you and me, but there's so much every single person in the world wants to achieve. And if you start to do the changes that Nick's talking about right now, you start to see the opportunity come, you start to see the blessings come in. And in some regards, it's as simple as that. Let me change, instead of going this way my entire life, and I choose to go this way from now on, naturally life has to become different. Whether that you become the people you're around. So if you change the environment, you change the people you're around, and now you're around people that are building you up, who have seen the success that you want to achieve in your life, you're then surrounding yourself with people who can, as you said, resonate and connects you and helps you move up the ladder. Mm-hmm. But then also, you're starting to see your entire life change. And I love where you come at from it when it's a self-improvement piece, it's a personal development piece, because it only can start on an internal level. It can only start on a self level, for that matter.
I feel like life only changes when you decide to incorporate change.
Yeah.
If you're not open-minded and accepting to change, it'll never happen.
Right. Yeah, I completely agree with that. That's why self-improvement and personal development on any level is one of the most, if not the most important part of everyone's life. Mm-hmm. And that's the course of life, for that matter. We're born, and then our parents, or whoever it is, they help us and guide us to grow, to improve essentially, and develop. And then eventually, when it's on you and it's on our own shoulders, sadly, I think in this day and age, we aren't teaching the next generation, the kids and everyone, how to take those steps on their own and to have that self-resilience, we'll say, and being able to say, like, all right, like, if you want to go and achieve this, it's on you, take the steps necessary. I think nowadays, technology, content, social media, and everything like that distracts us from it. But at the end of the day, it's on you to take the steps necessary. And help can come in and guide you to take the steps that you need to take. But you are the only one that can walk. You're the only one that can speak that into existence, that can create that into existence. And if in this day and age, again, if we're not teaching our kids how to overcome those mental health struggles, how to research, how to learn how they can improve themselves, how to actually step into reality and create the reality that you want to live for yourself. If we're not guiding them in how to do that process, that's a lot of people that eventually will hit the mental health struggle, because they're going to realize that the dream that they have for their life does not connect with the reality they live every single day. And from that point onward, there's now a disconnect, which then adds all that negativity, that self-talk, that the voices as you described and everything. But if we start to take a step to bridge the gap between where we are now and the dream that we want to live for ourselves, to create the dream into reality, from that point onward, as you take those steps, you start to feel good. start to feel good. Okay, that's a mindset piece, it's a spiritual piece, it's a physical piece. You're starting to improve every area of your life as you take these steps into who you're trying to become and who you want to be in your life. From that point onward, I'm almost there. And then you start to realize, oh wait, I am there. I did it. Okay, what's the next goal? And then you have all these strengths and skills to help you get there because you already had to walk it out yourself. That's everything you've done in your story. You've become this incredible speaker. You've become this person that can create an impact with mental health and mindset and everything like that. You've done it because you walk through it. That's why we say to you guys, the experiences that you go through are guiding you to the next person that needs your help. And if you choose to not make it through whatever that experience is, and you just say like, all right, I'm done. Whether you are someone that's battling suicide or you're someone that just sits on the sidelines, we'll say, there's so much left in your life to accomplish if you get up and try again. And that could be something as simple as you decide to take one step every single day to whatever that best is that you know for yourself, because that bridges the gap. Whether that's self-talk in the mirror or whether that's you actually say, getting up, I'm going to go for a walk today if it's a physical goal for yourself, or I'm going to go read this book, I'm going to research, I'm going to dedicate 10 minutes a day to reading something. You're naturally stepping into self-improvement and personal development, but it's on you. So with everything you've overcome and finding your purpose and find this gift, when did that really start to show after you started taking these self-improvement steps for yourself? Because you found the purpose and the gift in the process of this experience that you went through. When did it start to spark for you?
I think for me, it goes back to obviously personal experience. Right. I feel like it's my environment. I feel for me, it really started to develop because people always came to me for advice. I was always the helper, the problem solver, you could say.
I get that.
But then I realized over time, like the fact that I could speak so much life into somebody else in their circumstance, when sometimes I couldn't do that for myself. I wasn't always my biggest cheerleader, my biggest fan.
Yep.
I was always my biggest critic. And they always say you got to be your biggest supporter, critic, and friend all in one, because that holds you accountable. That keeps you going. That keeps the fire in the flame lit in a sense.
Right.
But for me, I noticed as time went on that I got a gift. God gave me a gift.
Love it.
God put me here to do exceptional things, and I'm not going to accept the bare minimum.
Yeah.
And it was up to me to realize that. And if I didn't know what my calling and purpose was, over time it would eventually expand in front of my eyes.
Yeah.
But it was just only a matter of time. I never rushed the process. I never rushed anything. I always feel that things got to come natural. If it doesn't come natural, I don't want it. I want to be a part of it because it has to come natural in order for you to realize what it is you're meant to do. And everybody's calling is different. If someone gets their win today, I'm going to be the first one to clap for them. I'm not going to be hateful or despiteful.
Exactly.
I want everybody to win. That's the whole purpose of life, is the game of life to win. We all want to win the game of life.
Yeah.
But if somebody wins before me, I'm not going to be upset about that, because why would I be upset when tomorrow might be the day I win?
Exactly.
I look at everything from a positive aspect, from a positive standpoint. And people ask me, how do I always remain so positive, even in crucial situations or circumstances?
Yeah.
Because life is not easy.
Yeah.
It's not easy, but I want to be better. Yeah. And when you have that discipline and that ambition to be better, you're not going to accept anything less. You're not going to accept the bare minimum. You're going to do whatever it takes to see the vision through. Yeah. And in that moment, I just kept telling myself, Nick, it's going to get better. Your time will come. Doesn't matter if people are winning ahead of you. Don't compare to them. I run my own race and go at my own pace.
I love it.
There's no need for me to compare. Because again, how everybody gets their win is going to be different than how I get mine. Yeah. So the day that someone wins today, great. I'm happy for them. Yeah. My time will come either tomorrow, next week, next month. But people say, why wait? Aren't you impatient? What's there to be impatient about? I know people that have failed at 30 and then succeeded at 35.
Exactly.
But it's not about what you turn as far as age every year. It's about you going through your own personal experiences, playing the game of life, and understanding that everything comes when it's supposed to.
Exactly.
Everything is aligning for you. Everything happens for you, not to you. People
100%.
think that, oh, why am I going through this? Why is this happening to me? I'm a good person. I think I deserve the best. You don't deserve anything if you don't put the work in.
True.
Hard work comes to those who go out and make it happen, not wait around for an opportunity.
Exactly, and I agree with you tenfold on all that. And the scripture comes to mind for me with that is walk by faith, not by sight. Right? Because if we're sitting there, and I say this to everyone right now, walk by faith, not by sight. Whether you come from a spiritual background, religious background, that's a major scripture to trust the process and what you walk into. Walking by faith means that you're running your own race, as Nick just said, Not by sight means I'm not going to sit there and look at all my surroundings. And as you described it, I'm not going to look at how all these other people have succeeded. But what about me? That's a victim mentality question. If you're walking by faith and you're starting to take these steps for yourself, trust the process, be patient, and know it's on its way to me. And then eventually, as you're walking, it's coming to you because you're improving yourself. You're becoming the person you need to become to receive that which you're out trying to receive and achieve for yourself. As you step into that version of you, it's brought to you. And that's where the patient factor comes into play. But walking by faith, not by sight, allows you to continue to improve because that self-judgment piece lowers and it lowers and it lowers because, hey, as Nick described it, I'm clapping for everyone. Everyone's winning. And whether it comes for me tomorrow, whether it comes for me today, whether it comes for me a year from now, whatever it is, it's on its way. That's trusting the process. But I agree with you tenfold.
But that's why a lot of people don't win in life because they're not willing or being open to clap for other people.
True.
Because they think if I clap for somebody else, that's going to decrease my value. That's going to lower my success or lower my value.
Right.
What's that going to lower? If anything, that's going to help me build up my self-esteem and help me be more compassionate to other people.
True.
Because how somebody you get your win, how I get my win, everybody's different. Everybody's differently abled. We're differently unique. But that's why God made us differently. Because again, everybody's blueprint in life is mapped out by the day they were born. So again, you may think I'm going through all these hardships, all these challenges. I'm in the midst of chaos. I'm in this storm right now. That's why I applaud anybody that can keep going after that storm has passed. So many people get caught up in the storm saying, you know what, this is crazy. All these winds and rain and ice and snow coming at me. It's too much to handle. But the biggest burdens also create the biggest success. The biggest burdens you can go through, they mold you into a different person when you're at rock bottom. That's why I brought up the rock bottom piece. Because rock bottom teaches you how to be grateful. It teaches you how to look at life through a different lens. 100%. It teaches you perception, perspective. It teaches you how to be grateful with the lessons that it's teaching you. Because pain teaches you a lesson.
Exactly.
Pain and trauma and neglect and abuse and disrespect, it all teaches you something. That's the component in the game of life. Because you have to play every part of the game to win the game of life.
100%. All things work together is another scripture factor right there. And that's exactly what it is. And I think the storm imagery that we depict to people, it's very, very often that God creates the storm in your life so it brings you to where you're meant to be. And the storm could just be called change. And a lot of people are very terrified of change because things get uncomfortable. We're used to our comfort zone. And
the comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there.
I love it. It's exactly it, right?
It never grows there.
100%, exactly. It's great to feel comfortable at seasons of our life, but there are seasons of our life where we need to get uncomfortable to grow, to change, to create progress, to succeed, because it's in the uncomfortable zone where life begins in a way, right? Where you're stepping into uncharted waters, but backing it with all this positivity, backing it with this self-talk, backing it with this faith and this trust, I'm going to make it. And then that's where life steps in and starts to guide you, or God steps in and starts to guide you to where you're meant to be. And that's why we can't be upset by the storm, whether it's rock bottom, the storm itself, everything. There's lessons to learn. And as you mentioned, rock bottom teaches you gratitude, which means a positive lesson came out of it. So viewers right now, if you're going through the storm, if you're going through rock bottom, if you're going through something, we've mentioned it before on Once a Week, but to say it right now, if you can take a step back and try to look at the lesson that's in this problem you're going through, the storm or whatever it is you're going through, if you find the lesson in it, what you do is you take the power away from that storm, you strip it of its pain, and you realize there was a growth moment in this for me. And when you take that lesson and that growth moment, you start to step forward with it, the storm is over in a matter of a second. And from that point onward, you're in the personal growth process, the personal development process, but then you take it into the next stage. You realize, everything that comes to me, I can learn from this. Before we started filming, we were talking about speaking and speaking to schools and companies, everything like that. And whether you hear a no or a yes, it's just leading you to where you're meant to be. That's why you can't be upset when the no's, the problems, or the walls come, because it's leading you to the perfect fit for you. But Nick, I think you bring so much to the table with everything that you bring as a professional speaker. And there's one other area I wanted to talk on is only the motivated. And that's where it kind of really sparked for you. And, I'm going to let Nick talk on it, but Only the Motivated, guys, is Nick's clothing brand where it started, but now it's become his own. It's the brand where it's what helped him and guide him through a lot of pain in his life to really stay the course towards his goals, right? So tell us about it, Nick. What's Only the Motivated?
So Only the Motivated is my clothing brand. It's built around motivation, inspiration, hope, ambition, discipline. Yeah. I created this. It started as a hashtag.
Okay.
So I use it as a hashtag. I have it tattooed on my body because it's like a symbol of me. Yeah. It's a reflection of me. It's a reflection of what I've been through as far as my pains, traumas, experiences. And I used it as a sign of hope to get me out of whatever situation I'm in. But I had to put the work in.
Yeah.
Everything results to hard work. So anytime I was in the gym, working on my crafts, in school, talking to somebody, I always use the analogy Only the Motivated.
Good feel.
Because it helped me stay positive. It helped me stay uplifted, fulfilled, encouraged. Yeah. Because I knew that only the motivated can survive. Only the motivated can see this through. Only the motivated are going to be willing to compromise and be open-minded to see their vision through. Yeah. And I wanted to give people a sense of hope to where they wear an article of clothing, to where they feel encouraged by the name. The name itself brings passion, brings purpose, brings persistence. And I feel that since I built the brand, people have loved the message because every great brand has a message behind it. People can fall in love with the name all they want, but if there's no clear, cut, direct message behind it, they're not going to understand what the meaning is. Everything's got to have a great meaning. That's like in anybody's own personal story. There's a message to tell. But a lot of people continue to, they forget to write the script to their story, and they put the pen down for so long thinking that, my story's already written. There's so much more of the story left to be untold. Left to be told.
Exactly.
But in order for you to tell that story, you got to pick up the pen and keep writing.
100%.
So I think for me is that the brand is a personal reflection of me. Everything you do is a personal reflection of you, and it gives people that spark to ignite the flame and gives them that purpose to understand what their reality is. But in order for you to know reality, you got to use your own personal experience. Build something. Don't be afraid to take that leap of faith. You got a business, you got a brand, you got an image, you got a vision. Go after it. 100%. One person that's stopping you is you. Don't let the fear of you, don't let the fear of your thoughts or voices throw you off course. Don't let the things that people say to you tell you that's not going to work, it's not going to happen. What do they know? They never lived a moment in your shoes. So who are they to tell you it's not going to work? Until you do something, you'll never know what can work or not work.
Right.
I think it's just taking that leap of faith. I think a lot of people are so afraid to do something in their life because they're afraid of judgment. They're afraid of being ridiculed. They're afraid of their own voices in their head. They're just afraid of fear. Fear is a figment of your imagination, which means it's not even real. You got to stop telling yourself that it won't work. You got to stop telling yourself that's not going to happen. In order for it to work and for it to happen, you got to believe that it will happen. It starts with belief in self.
100%.
So for me building this brand, I wanted to give people a voice, give them reason, give them hope, give them inspiration, give them a sort of spark to where, you know what? Doesn't matter what profession, career path I choose, I can see this through. Doesn't matter how much money I make, doesn't matter what credibility I have or accolades I make. It's the impact and influence I bring to the world around me that's going to really leave my mark on humanity. So I think that brand for me is, it's in the beginning stages. Like we're rebranding now, everything's falling into place for it. But I know for a fact that I'm going to see this vision through because, again, it's a reflection of me. When people think of me, they think of Only the Motivated.
I love that. That's so much power behind Only the Motivated in the clothing brand. You mentioned it's in the transition phases right now, but can people find it online, or is there clothing for sale for people that are viewing right now where they can buy it?
So as far as the rebranding process, we're getting everything put together. The clothing's getting made, everything right now. Actually, in the process of doing by the end of this month. Good. Early April, we're hoping to get everything situated. Awesome. The website will be back up. We're rebranding website, clothing, everything.
Awesome.
We do have an Instagram page at Only the Motivated. All one word on Instagram, Facebook as well.
Phenomenal.
So that's where people can find it for now.
I'll have that in the credits for this video, guys, so you guys can find it when it goes live. We'll find them on Instagram. But Nick, you kind of just left us with an impact right there. I was going to ask one last question of what's a lasting message you want to leave with people? But Only the Motivated brings a great message. Is there anything else you want to say to people before we close this interview out?
I think I'm going to take this from a mental health standpoint. Nice. I want to tell people that the mindset the mind is the biggest battleground.
Yep.
So you got to keep fighting the war.
Yep.
It's not easy. You're going to go to war every day with yourself. You're going to tell yourself that it's not going to happen. It may not be worth it. You may not believe in yourself right now.
Yep.
But in order for you to believe in yourself, you got to believe the words that come out of your mouth. You got to go in the mirror and tell yourself, it's 3 simple words. Just, I love you.
Yeah.
As cliche and as vague as that
True.
is, believe in yourself. Love yourself for who you are. Love the progress you made. Yeah. You'll never be able to fully enjoy the destination if you never fully enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
The journey is going to get you to the destination. But when you reach the mountaintop, understand there's still more work to do. People get to the mountaintop and they get comfortable. Again, the comfort zone is a beautiful place, but nothing ever grows there. Right. When you learn to be more ambitious, to be more disciplined, to be more fulfilled, and live through a state of gratitude, you can never lose. When you have a pure intention, when you have a pure heart and a pure intellect, and you're open-minded to change, you'll never lose. But always remember, great things come to those who go out and make it happen and not wait. Believe that you are good. Believe that you are enough. Believe that you're worthy, you're deserving of great things that God in life will give you. Yeah. But you got to be open-minded to it. I was hard on myself for a very long time. I never believed in myself. I didn't think things would get better. But that's my voices in my mind playing tricks on me. That's my anxiety playing tricks on me. So when I learned to eliminate that negative thinking and start to think more freely for myself, I could create the reality and perception that I've always wanted and I've desired. But it's up to me to take those action steps, up for me to take that initiative to say, you know what, I want better for myself. But in order for better to come, being open-minded is the biggest key. Change only comes when you're willing to be open to change. Protect your boundaries, protect your peace and love for self from those who aim to disturb it, because your environment is the biggest crucial aspect to obtaining peace, clarity, well-being, and success. Everybody's version of success is different. Don't compare yourself to others. Don't compare your journey to others. Compare yourself to your past self, your present self, and your future self. Leave the past, focus on the present, plan for the future. But don't focus too much on the future that you forget to live in the present. Because you got to remember, you got to enjoy the progress you made, enjoy the person you've become. Because everybody's outgrown a version of themselves that they never thought they'd come back from. So that alone is a win. I enjoy my small wins. Being alive is a small win. 100%. Being able to breathe is a small win. Being able to go to my job and do what I love, that's a small win. Being able to live life with more gratitude, love, and more peace of mind, that's a small win. You can't enjoy the bigger wins if you haven't enjoyed the smaller wins. So I think for the viewers out here, if you're listening, just enjoy the process. Enjoy what you've done. Enjoy what you're becoming. Enjoy who you're going to become in the future. And keep people around you that keep you fulfilled, loved, encouraged. And don't make you question your worth, because questioning your own worth is going to make you feel less of yourself, and you don't want to feel less of yourself. Just know that great things are to come and great things will happen, but you got to make a conscious effort to make it happen. And God will not give you a battle that you cannot overcome.
Phenomenal. I can't say anything else better than that, guys. So I'm gonna leave right there. But it does start with a self-love piece, as you mentioned, right? And so, guys, if that's the first step you take after this video, say it to yourself. You know, as Nick said, say I love me. I love you. If you look in the mirror and say it, but that's a healing process that allows you to bring a little bit more clarity in, to step into, as Nick described it, the future, to plan for the future. But you got to enjoy it right now. How do you enjoy it right now? Starts with a faith aspect and a self-love piece. But Nick, I appreciate having you on, man. Tell them before we go, tell them where they can find you. You mentioned only the motivated, but where else can they find you on social media?
So you can find me at OTM Nick on Instagram, Nick Laureano on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. All my links are on my social medias, my clothing brands page. Everything is on there. Check me out. If you want to follow, you can. I don't ask anybody to follow, but if you want to, you can. I post a lot of daily content, inspirational quotes, videos. I think that can really leave a lasting impact. And I'll leave you with this last message. Healing is not a one-day process. It's a journey. So love that journey.
I love it. I love it right there, guys. Check him out on all those platforms, guys. He brings so much to the table. That's why I want to make sure we create that message for you today. But if you have to replay this message, play it back. If there's one part that caught you, that really spoke to you, that's your sign right there that there's something more, where you can take that step for yourself, where that healing process begins for you, where that battle of mental health that you might be going through, there's a victory there for you. But you have to be able to step into it, as Nick described, and take that action point. But I thank you guys so much for tuning in. Please like this message on YouTube. Hit that thumbs up up below. Share this message to someone that you feel could benefit from it. As I said before, if Nick said something or I said something and something popped in your head or someone popped in your head, that's your clear-cut sign that that person could benefit from this. Help them through this video. That was our whole goal putting this together. Create a positive, helpful message for you that you can then move forward on. Share it to them, guys, and please subscribe if you haven't yet. But Nick, I thank you so much for being here, brother.
Yeah, always a pleasure, man.
Awesome.
Always a pleasure.
Awesome. Have a good one, guys.
Have a good one, guys.
All right with you.
You know I've been around and doing it, but now it's my time to shine and start proving it. I'm losing it, I'm moving it. The city is where I'm made, Bostonian flow, I kick it back there. Yeah, I got game, got in a fan way. We the city of the champs, every sport we play. Spit wetter than the harbor, yeah, I'm flowing like the Charles. I be speeding on